Alright, so a fun little story time of how I became a dedicated Niv Mizzet player. Because obviously I've played Magic since before he was printed, so I wasn't always a Niv Mizzet player. So this story starts with us in the lockdown due to the ick of 2020. And with us being locked down, I don't have spell table access, and a lot of my friends didn't want to do it either. So a lot of us started playing on Modo, but the problem was people didn't like it, people didn't like the feel of Commander, so it ended up just being me and my friend Yixion, who's seen on the channel quite a bit. So we ended up playing random games online, and anyone who's heard me gripe about Commander not being an online format, you can understand why. So what was happening in these games is we were all trying to build and play different things all the week. Like I was playing Boros creatures, I was went through a phase of wanting one of every commander color and all that, and I was brewing all these different decks. But one thing that was often happening was we were having, obviously there was the games where people didn't get their good hands, so they just left and the table didn't work, and we had to re-roll and try again. But what I found was happening a lot was one player would get the not the initiative, because that's a different thing, would get the jump on everyone else. It'd be like the player that had the soul ring, or the player that had the early ramp or the low mana curve, or the player that resolved the one key threat. And at this point, the only interaction a lot of us were running was really good broad answers like Psych Rifts, board wipes, Pernicious Deeds, destroy all permanents. And that's great, that levels the playing field. The issue with playing those though is once you've blown up the board, everyone will come after you and you've set everyone back to zero. And it led to a lot of bad feels. So what I was thinking and discussing with Yixion at the time is I would really just like it if I could play a deck where, okay, so-and-so's resolved a big stompy threat. I've got a singular kill spell to deal with that. That was what I was thinking. I said I'll run a more centered around individual interaction deck. But Yixion made the great point. This isn't one-on-one. You've got two other opponents who will run away with the game. And that made me thinking. I was like, he's like, yeah, you'll spend all your interaction just taking out individual pieces, and then you get overwhelmed because you've run out of bullets, you've run out of resources. And then it hit me, going back in time before the pandemic, when I first started playing Niv Mizzet, when I was inspired by Goldfish's video of them playing it in Modern, because I thought it was really fun. I was in the Friday Night Magic playing Modern with Niv Mizzet, pre-Modern Horizons, and my opponent was our store's Jund player, because anyone who's played Modern knows every store has a Jund player and a Tron player and a Burn player. Like, they are the guaranteed free players you will find at your LGS. So we're playing, and he's used all his interaction. My hand's been stripped. I've got nothing left. We're top decking at this point because I've answered his threats. He's stripped my hand. We're both out of resources. And he goes, I think I'm going to lose this game. I says, well, no, because we're equal here. And he says, yeah, no, not really, because the best thing I can draw will be either a Bloodbraid Elf, a Tarmogoyf, or a Liliana. Your best draw is a 6/6 that'll reload your hand with resources. And that memory came back to me when I was talking to Yixion about it. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll make a 5-color Niv deck, and I'll focus it around interaction that will eventually just trip a player who's running away, just give him a little shove, make him stumble, slow down, let everyone catch up. And that was the idea. So that was where the first Niv deck came from, and over time that deck evolved, and we'll just put this over here. This evolved into the Gigantha paper deck. You can see here I have many versions. And there's still some very good remnants of it here. You can see like individual targeted removal, really heavy. We only run a couple of board wipes. But like a lot of the interaction here is singular targeted, because we have in our command zone a reload effect. So yeah, that's the story of how this first deck came into iteration. And I really started to enjoy playing it because our games became way more fun. Not just as well that we were actually having more interactive games. I mean, I was still losing some, winning some, but I think the my rate went up, which was pretty fun. And the thing was, then I noticed something. I was like, well, I've got the 5-color deck here, and I'd seen originally I was running Road to Victory, the split aftermath card that if you played it after getting Niv on the field could turn him into a 12/6 double striker that could one-shot a player. And I was like, oh, split cards are cute. I mean, that would be hilarious if you could run a deck with it. And like Yixion said to me, he was like, well, you could, couldn't you? Because it's the same principle. You just use the badly costed interaction to play the game, then reload with Niv, get more badly costed interaction, get more value. I was like, yeah, I could try that. So I literally on here made my second Niv deck back in the day, Niv to Choices, which is, for those of you who don't know, an entire split card deck, which, yes, I have foiled out on Modo. Yes, okay, they were all bulk cards, don't judge me, I still love it. Yeah, so all these split cards you see here that I could just literally cast, burn through them, get bad rates, then reload with Niv, get more bad cards to keep playing. And this deck was insanely fun, and what I noticed was, I was literally just throwing in the same green ramp spells and the same mana base, and the deck was working as well. So that inspired me in paper to do the same. I literally made the module deck you've seen designed in other formats. And basically from there it was very simple. I was like, oh, okay, so I've got the same 40 lands, the same 10 ramp cards. All I need to do is fill out the other half of the deck with a theme set around 2-cost cards. And that's where the insanity started. I was like, let's go to some other ones. So what I'm going to do here for the last little bit is just show you some of the ones you don't see. So I built one built around X-Spells because a lot of X-Spells were multicolored. So we have an all X-Spell deck that's running more ramp, more interaction there. Then I went and made the standard ones. I made Blink. You see me tinker with these from time to time, added stuff like that. Yeah, I made a Blink deck that was built around ETBs of 2-colored creatures, which was really strong because obviously Niv had one. I made another meme deck that I've played on the channel where it was all guild mages that were literally just used to try and activate their abilities. I made a storm deck, I made counters matters, I made an enchantment deck, I made a deck that cares about exile, I made a token deck, and I found really fun synergies to build around from there. So I'll do in a different video, I'll do a full breakdown of each one of these decks and what they do, but that's ultimately where it started to come from. It also helped that at the time of me starting with the whole Niv Mizzet thing, Pioneer had just been invented, and I had been tinkering with Pioneer decks, not finding anything I really liked, and then I was like, huh, Niv to Light looks fun. And I had been building it before the world went on lockdown, so I had most of that in paper, and I literally used that to build the commander decks while we were locked down to play. So yeah, the entirety of this and all the insanity that was built around this wonderful card that I love playing came from Salty Commander Games Online and a passing joke of a Jund player telling me that I would reload my hand. And I carried on here because I use reload in the videos, as you've seen. Hope you enjoyed this casual dumb story time. We'll do some better ones next time.